Hello, this is the week 7 of Mobile App for Business. So last week we finished the two scenes that the first scene is about label dash-free and the clear and about UI dash-free delegate operations. And then image picker control, and we add the image to the XCSS and we can set the image from the photo library of the iOS. And then we create a table view with the customized table cells, and this is what we done in last week. So in week 7, that what we want to do is that we want to put the navigation from one scene to another. So if we run this project, and what you can see here is currently the project is pointing to the first table view scenes, and you can see the cells, but there is no button or interaction or navigation happening here. Alright, so the first stage that we are going to do today is that we will embed this data view into the navigation controller. To do that, we just click on the bar of this Me Data View scene and go to the editor, embed in navigation controller. So by doing so, that you can see that there are additional scenes in front of the Me Data View controller, and it is pointing to this. So the next step is that I want to name the scenes. So I click on this. Basically, it is click on the navigation item, and I open the properties window, and I go to the attribute inspector. There you can find the dash-free about with the name title. So you can give the name something like your meals. Okay, so you got the title now. So the next thing that what we want to do is that we want to add some kind of navigation between this to this. So now we have added, and now the second stage is we will add a tab bar item. So to put the icon here, we go to the object library, and from that search with the bar keyword, and you will see something like this. Choose bar button item, and you drag and drop to the navigation bar and to the right top, and you drop it there. So now you have the item, and the behavior of this item is just adding a new meal. So we can use the system item and enter this attribute inspector, that you can go to the system item and you can choose add. Once you click add, that the display is changed to plus sign and it is showing add. Okay, this is the first stage. And second thing is that we will link this plus button to the me scene. So I press the control key and drag and drop this to this view controller scene. And in the pop-up window, I will show that show. And you get this C gauge connecting from this data view to the view controller. So what we can do here is that we want to change its presentation mode to be modally, and also we want to name it as add item. So these two stages that we will do now. So you click on this C gauge, and you can, in the identifier, you can type add item. You can add item, and notice that I use the capital A and capital I because this is a kind of ID that we can refer from the code, from the program. And to make sure, press enter. And the second thing is that how we can show it. So you can change from push to something like present modally. That means you showed it like a model view that it is showing on top of one another. Okay, so these are the settings that we want to set between this table view and the me view controller. So the next step that we want to do is that we want to modify this view controller to some, because this label and this pattern we will no longer need it. We will use it in some way. So to demonstrate this clearly, that I will show you in this assistant editor view, and make sure it is showing that view controller on the right and these things on the left. So all right, so what we are going to do now is that I will select this label and I will press the delete key on the keyboard to remove this. I will also remove this clear button, select it and delete it. So all you have left on your scene is only the text field. So after doing that, you will notice that this circle becomes something like empty. So that means there is no reference UI element on the scenes. So we no longer need this label. So you can select this and you can delete this. Right after deleting that, what you will see that there are some kind of error message showing up. So this is the method that when we click clear button, we want to set this kind of default text. So we no longer need this IB action of set default label text. So I will select all this block and delete this. And second thing is about this is the function that when the user types something in the text field and when we press enter, it set the value to the label. But we don't have the label, so we will keep this function as it is, but we will delete this setting the label. Right after that, your program should be something like this, and you can run and see how it's to make sure that everything is working as expected. So now you got this something like this, and if you click on that, you will see like this view. All right, so everything should be working as expected. Something like putting A and choosing image should be working as it is, but there is no way to go back, or there is no any additional action we can do from that point. So let's stop this. Okay, next stage is we want to rename. Renaming is just to make it more to make the project more readable. So we want to rename something on this project. So there are three steps. What we do is we need to rename the file. We need to modify the code. We need to rename the file. We need to modify the code, and we need to pair it in the scenes. So let's do this. So I will go back to this, and I will in the project folder. You can see that project explorer. You can see that now we have these kind of two scenes, basically the table view and this view controller. So this table view we name it me table view controller, but this view controller is created by the time when we create the project. So it's just giving the kind of just simple name like view controller. But basically that is showing each me. So I want to change this view controller to be like me view controller. To do that, you select once, and when you press enter, it become like editable name. So type it mail and press enter. So now we change the file name to be mail view controller. After changing the file name, you should also change inside the code. So in the class declaration, instead of view controller, you need to type mail view controller. Another thing is that um, you in the comment it is used for documentation, and it is saying that view controller. So we want to fix in the documentation to be mail view controller. So these are the stage. And then remember that let's go to the storyboard. That earlier we we say that the identity or the kind of the owner of this scene, it is the view controller. Now we change this view controller to me view controller. So in this case, we should modify this kind of setting to reflect to our change. So open this properties window and click on this view controller, and in this identity inspector, you see that the custom class owner is view controller. We no longer have this class, and we have another thing called mail view controller. Double check and make sure that you select the correct one, mail view controller, not the another one, mail view controller. And press enter to make sure that it recognizes the changes. Alright, so these are the stage that we need to do modification, and and after that what we want to do is that we want to embed the missing to the navigation controller. So that means we want to link these two in the using through navigation controller. So I will click I will select on this scene, and I will go to this menu editor, embed in navigation controller, and you have something like this. So now if you look at this, you will see four scenes, look like four scenes, but these are a pair of navigation and table view, navigation and table view. Okay, right after that, we want to give the name that this is this kind of control. It is we okay after this. All right. Okay, so next thing what we want to do is that we want to give the title. So I select on this title bar. So basically it is this navigation item of this me view controller, and in this attribute inspector I set it, this is new mail. Press enter, and I want to add two patterns. So these are the patterns that I want to add. So I drag bar pattern item and put it on the left, and I drag again the bar pattern item and put it on the right, and I change it to be the custom type cancel, and second one to be save. So these are the actions that we want to do. And one last thing what I want to do is when the user types something here and press enter, I want to take this what the user type and put as the title. So to do that, um, I will copy this one line of code, and I will put it in the function called test and editing. So we will go to this controller of this scene. That means me view controller.set, and inside that test field did and editing method, I paste what I copy here. So basically it is picking up the navigation item dot title. We get the test from the test fee and we assign to the title. So these are the stages that we want to do now. So you can run the project and see how it's work. So basically that this is the end of the first session, the first part of the week 7 classwork. So user, press enter and change it here. And so far, this kind of save and cancel button may not be working yet, but the all other controls should be working as it is. Alright, see you in next part 2.